going to spend today with most of the time we're going to spend on I'm going to show you how you set up a new engagement project on an online platform that we developed called Your Priorities. It's an open source platform that anybody can use, and you can download and install it in your IT department, or you can use it even free on our cloud solution. But first, I'm still going to set out a little bit of a context for online deliberation. Just for like 10-15 minutes, just to sort of outline a bit sort of the history of online deliberation, to sort of set out the stage of what type of an online tool Your Priorities is. And then we'll go into, I will show you how you build a community. Then I will show you a QR code on the screen, which you can use to actually join the community and participate. And we're going to do an experiment. We're going to have a fictional consultation on solutions to improve life of disabled people, like in an urban environment. And I'm going to ask you to anonymously to put in some ideas, just some example, 1 or 2 ideas. And then after we've done that, we will take some time also on the same platform, on your phones or in a different window on your computer, doesn't matter. And we will look at it, deliberation of how you add points for and against those ideas that you and me will be adding to the platform. And then finally, as the final part, we will look at the ideas that we have added, and we will prioritize them. We'll have like 3 or 4 votes. We'll decide later, and then we will end up with the most important ideas to help improve situation for disabled people in urban environment. But first, just a very quick presentation on the sort of what type of a platform Your Priorities is in sort of the big picture. And feel free to always, if you want to ask me some questions, either in the chat or you can also just stop me. That's fine, and I can ask questions. I can answer sort of interactively. So what I thought would be good to sort of set the context for online deliberation today is to look at sort of a brief history of online deliberation. So we can say that that this piece of technology was the sort of enabler for online deliberation. And this is a modem. This was used in the late 70s, 80s, and 90s to connect to other computers, where you could have a computer at home where that would talk to other computers. And the first things that were built in the late 70s were so-called bulletin board system, BBS system. And that's a photo of an early, like a specialized BBS computer that could enable people to have an online deliberation. And it was pretty rough. It was all text-based. It wasn't really not text-based until we had the web. And you had didn't have that many characters and so on. But people could across country or with a long distance phone call, you could connect with people around the world using those simple systems where home computers could use a modem to connect to a bulletin board. And but this started to be really like popular, and not only popular for like it was designed for like just sharing like basic sort of scientific data and so on, but it really came also for fun, for cooking, for writing, for anything. Very quickly people started to use those BBS systems as for entertainment, for fun, to exchange ideas and to do a deliberation. it's one example, Koala Country was very popular. But then sort of in the 90s, we started to get like what was sort of very highly specialized bulletin board systems. And even like in this case, America Online with a very basic graphical interface when Windows came out. And this was sort of, you would use your modem on your computer, on your Windows computer, and you would dial up to America Online, and then you could get access to basic email, news, and so on. But all of this controlled by this company, America Online, which was sort of the sole provider of this information. So this was the first sort of commercialization of online deliberation. Before, like Koala Country, all the BBS systems, and even at the same time, America Online the BBS systems were going really strong, were really sort of a volunteer, like research-based, they're not really sort of commercial. America Online was sort of the first one sort of to commercialize the BBS. Then in 1980, was a huge innovation called Usenet. So Usenet was an idea of creating this worldwide news network where you would have different forums for different things that could then be replicated across computers around the world, like even before like the proper internet came to be. So computers would negotiate times where they would exchange messages from those forums and from those discussion forums, like at night, for example. They would call each other at night and they would exchange information, what people were talking about. And this, as they started very scientific in the beginning, but then it became about anything, about games, about love, about humor, whatnot. But at this time, we really also had most of the systems were like, this like sort of really text-based, all about just text and information. And, and it was like all sorts of content, for example, scientists in the 80s discussing, in 81, discussing issues with nuclear weapons, progress. So, people are like using this to debate and deliberate some quite serious issues, from the beginning. But then the internet is born, sort of the technology for that enabled an explosion, sort of in the early 80s and sort of through the 80s. Like the internet just exploded in universities, and it was mostly for like universities for the defense sector in the US. So actually the internet was more or less invented by DARPA, so it's a part of the defense, sort of defense, research lab. And one of the ideas with the internet was that original sort of goal of the internet was to create a computer network technologies that could resist, nuclear war, for example, by being decentralized, where if you take out a part of the network, you can't take out the whole thing. And the discussion sort of multiplied, and it just like it became like tens of thousands, and then hundreds of thousands, and then millions of people were now talking online, but all like in this text-based interface. And okay, I was around for all of this time. This was a lot of fun, even if it was just text-based, like it was just so magical to be able to like, open your computer, like, and make like a dial-up connection to the university or whatever. And then suddenly like you had like all this information and like all those people from around the world discussing things that you cared about, like, and even like if you, with all the different interests that people have, being able to come together globally online around those interests was a huge revolution, and especially for a small country like Iceland, we're not that many, and this really sort of opened up the world. I mean, we're only 320,000 now. We were 200 or something thousand at the time in the 80s. So it was a huge revolution, and then it was an eye-opener for people participating. And forums, graphical user interface for Usenet. Also, people started to share images and so on. And but there was always a what was called the Usenet etiquette. So there was no centralized moderation infrastructure in any way. It was totally decentralized. So if you put in a message to a Usenet forum somewhere, it would just go everywhere, and it was just not really technically, not that simple to, delete things from everywhere. That's possible, but it was not like a simple thing. So there was really strong etiquette, like community rules that were highly respected, and people like from all walks of politics and life respected those, including, before you ask a question, check if that question has been asked in the recent past, and use appropriate content for the news group, depending on what type of a news group is. Follow the rules of group you're sending to, and this worked actually really, really well. There was no, we didn't really have much problems of toxicity and so on. It was people treated this in a quite sort of a respectful way, this amazing new technology. And then we had another revolution, which was IRC. So while Usenet gave us the possibilities of having discussion forums, writing submissions to the forums that would then distribute all over the world. IRC was like live chat. So now you could, like here in Iceland, you could go into an IRC channel, you'd be connected to people in real time with the whole of the world. There was a great old client called IRC Junior, and it was all text-based, but it was like the whole world was there, and you were talking to people in real time on all sorts of different topics, and this I think sort of also from being in the technical world, Usenet and IRC, as sort of communication forums and so on, they really, really accelerated all the development of the IT industry and technology and so on. Just this sort of, massive step of, before, if you wanted to share information, you needed to write the information into a journal or something, like a technical journal, or get published as in a book, or you would be published in a paper. But then Usenet and IRC came, and you could have an idea, and it would be across the world being evaluated by people in literally real time. So, as a tool for innovation, it's amazing, but also for fun. Just chatting to people, different than you, across the world. It was just amazing. And again, like Usenet, there was sort of quite strong etiquette on IRC, like community etiquette, which not where, for example, don't speak all caps. It's like shouting, and no swearing, advertisers, take your business elsewhere. There's no ads welcome in IRC or Usenet, and and it worked really well. It's just, compared to how we see online arguments and so on today, it's almost amazing that millions of people could use the IRC system, be talking in real time, and overall, the experience was, good for people. Obviously not always, but sort of overall. Then when the web hit, and when the web started to be, here, we had like web forums, which is sort of started to take over from Usenet a little bit, but Usenet is still, still active in a way, but sort of online forums started to, take over, and then it's and this idea also of different types of forums, forums for specific topics and so on. And I think that's also, as the internet grew, to try to sort of put everything into the same Usenet, the same forum system, it didn't make sense anymore. It made sense where there was like hundreds of thousands of people participating there, But we had tens of millions and hundreds of millions, then it's natural for the sort of deliberation and discussion ecosystem to be more sort of decentralized. So there's forum everywhere for people interested in space issues. There was one for them that's a great one, Space Trace. And then another sort of big sort of a paradigm shift happened in sort of mid 2000s, when we started to see this idea of social media. And social media sort of started to explode, and people started to go on MySpace, for example, obviously on Twitter, but also MySpace. People of my age, I'm sure you remember good old Tom. He was the first friend you had when you joined MySpace, and people set up their profiles, and they started to put their own lives online, their own sort of digital twins in a way. And while there was still discussion going on, it started to become more sort of personal. So brands, like this is like Lady Gaga on MySpace, on her old MySpace page. Artists, brands, and just regular people set up their own pages like that, to be on social media. And then the Facebook launches, first as a network for colleges, for kids in college or young people, and but quickly grew to basically, as we all know, sort of take over the world a bit. And like before, people were setting up their own pages on social media, and people were coming to those pages and so on. And but then in 2010, Facebook launches the live feed, called now basically the news feed of Facebook. And when Facebook launched this, the users were outraged. Like they thought, like, oh, this is such a bad idea. People felt that their privacy was being compromised. Why is all my personal information being aggregated on this live feed for everybody to see? And people said, and there was like articles written, like people were like up in arms. But on what Facebook knew is that it just so massively increased the time people spent on Facebook. So while people initially hated the idea of this news feed going on, they were glued to the screen. They could not stop. So obviously Facebook moved forward, and Facebook business model being to sell advertisements, the newsfeed was the big commercial break for Facebook, because the newsfeed has so many, as we talked about a couple of days ago. The newsfeed, has so much potential to sell advertisement, because there's always new content. There's always a new ad that can be placed next to some content that people created. And so we have just had this evolution over the years, and don't misunderstand me again. I love Facebook, use it a lot. We use it a lot for engaging people to come and take part in projects on our platform, for example, but also friends and family, all sorts of groups. My choir, we conduct a lot of our business through Facebook. So it's great, but when it comes to deliberation and sort of connecting to people, there's other tools like your priorities, which we will talk about now. But there's a whole ecosystem of different types of online deliberation, online discussion tools, and citizen engagement tools in many ways. But your priorities, has a special role in terms of it has a special function specifically for citizen engagement, connecting together citizens with other citizens, government with citizens, non-profits with citizens and governments, and so on. While not taking away anything, we're no competition to Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. We don't want to be that, but we just have more of a specialized tool. So now I'm happy to have questions. just ping me, as I say, either on the chat or you can raise your hand or you can speak out. Okay, otherwise, I'm gonna jump straight now into the main event today, which is I'm going to show you how to set up a new project on your priorities. So if we go here just quickly to the to our homepage, so citizens.is. So if you go into get started here, then scroll down a little bit. Here you can see the different cloud platforms you can set your project up on, like we will be using the yrpri.org. But there's also a 6-minute video here that shows more or less exactly what I'm gonna show you now in sort of a bit of a quicker way. So just so you know that you can easily, and also I believe, well, I know this recording will be available, but if you want to start right away after this course, you know, to do some experiments, and then don't worry, you don't need to write everything down that I say now. You can go to our homepage and to get started, and then there's just a video that, to say, it's 6 minutes, you know, and but I won't go through. I will go through the setup now in a little bit in more detail. So while we go here, we first go to yrpri.org, and I'm going to just put that here in the chat. But you don't need to go there right away. I'm gonna, after I've set up the community, I will create a QR code on the screen so you can use your phone, or you can you know, also click on the link. But if you want to use your computers, but the first thing you do is that you go here to yrpri.org, to this homepage, and there's like a login button at the top. You see a little bit about your priorities here, text, and then you have like you know, just some link to some of our projects in Scottish Parliament, Better Reykjavik, Better Iceland, and all this we talked about before. And you're welcome to, obviously, to take a look at those projects and you know, yeah, I mean, learn from them or whatever. I mean, there's a project, there's a bit of a, there's a lot of new Kirkish projects that have happened here recently. So yeah, there's a lot of projects here, you know, actually thousands of projects. But you go to this yrpri.org, and here at the bottom of the screen, there is a button on the bottom right corner. There's a big plus button. It says Add Community. I press that, and actually, I'm just going to log out again. Google automatically logged me in. And so I press this button. Then I'm asked to log in. If I already have an account on your priorities, I can log in here. If I want to use my Facebook login, I can click on this button. But otherwise, you click on New User, and then you put your name, and then email, and then you you know, create a new password. But but I'm just going to log in with my account. So I press plus here, and then Chrome will automatically sign me in because it knows that, because I asked it to keep my password. So then you know, and if you ask Chrome to keep your password, then next time you log in, you know, Chrome will just log you in, you know, immediately like that. And I'm just going to have the screen a little bit bigger, like that. Just tell me if you don't see, if you want me to have the text bigger. But now we have this dialog that popped up. So we clicked on the plus in the bottom right corner, and we have this dialog pop up after we've created our user. So we want to create a new community, and it first asks us for a name. And I had actually, I also have a Google Docs document here, which I actually have all the text that I'm going to use. So it's a bit of cheating, but that's fine. So so I call this demo Better Policies for Disabled People, and then it asks me for a host name. Or I say demo disabled people 2, because I think it doesn't. And then here, then this is going to be the URL directly to my new project after I've created it. I scroll down a little bit here, and I'm offered to upload a logo, a video, a header image. So we could, upload a video. We can record the video as well. You click on a video, you can record the video directly just from your computer, or you can upload a video and just make sure that it's in the right either landscape or portrait format. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use an image. So I'm going to, but first we have the description here. So we have the name, we have the host name, and then we have a description. And I have this ready here as well, like that. So we put this, just a short description. We have only 300 characters for this description, but there's also a possibility of adding help pages that go into the question mark at the top right of the screen, and those help pages can be unlimited length. The reason why we limit this description size is that most people will be using this community on their phones. So this 300 characters is sort of the maximum we can have in the description without like just overflowing the screen of the mobile phone. Just like one of the things that is sort of a negative when people come to a website for participation. If there's too much text, if there's overwhelmingly amount of text on the screen, that will cause some people to leave and not take part. But we made sure that it's not possible to put too long text in those descriptions, so you can only put 300 characters. But I'm going to upload a logo, and it opens my folder here, and I have disabled demo, and I choose the photo from my folder. It just quickly uploaded it, and then I can scroll down here, and I've uploaded my logo. And then I can have what type of access does this project, this community, what sort of access should it have? If it's public, then, and I'm going to leave this new project public because we're just as a demo, we're playing around with it. But when you're starting a new project, you probably want to keep it secret to start with, while you're building it up and setting it up. And then that means that only you and only people you invite specifically from the platform can take part in it. And then when it's ready, just remember to put it public, and then it's public for both people to look at, but also for search engines and so on. Then there's many different options. I'm not going to go through all of them. You can have registration questions. For example, if your project requires that you ask for age group or gender or something like that, you can put those in you can put like, questions like that here in a special JSON format. And there's few options. For example, only admins can create groups. So I'll put that on. If I don't put, otherwise I can create a community, and if it's public, and if I don't select that one, then other people can create also community groups. And that's like sometimes good. I'm gonna hide all tabs. That sort of simplifies the user interface a little bit. I can choose a theme, and there's many different themes here. Let me see. Let me see. Basically I'm just choosing some I'll try this one, and then it sort of changes the font, it changes the colors and so on. So but you can choose the theme, and then you can put your own colors here. You can put in like, we could put this, we can have it like that. So we can make our own theme for the platform using your colors here. But I'm, also showing that, but I'm gonna just delete that, and but that's just like an option. And then there's many other options here, which I'm not going to talk about any of them actually. Well, actually one. So your priorities is what's called the mobile web app. So it can be installed on it can be yeah, it can be installed on the home screen of the phone. So if the user comes to one of your projects, then you know, like on Android, if they visit it a couple of times, they're offered there's like a pop-up at the bottom that offers them to install the community on their phone. And then you can have like you can upload a home screen icon, like that's going to be on the home screen of the phone. And then you have a short description. It can only be like 12 to 14 characters here because this is the name that's underneath the icon on the phone, and you know how small those are. So so you can only put in a very short one here. But I'm not going to even you know, do that now for this one. This is just a little test. But you can sort of have an icon for your community that as it should appear on the home screen of the phone. But many people use this, and people are, as I say, most people are going to use and be engaging through on their mobile phones anyway. So just to recap, I put in a name, I put in this host name that needs to be unique. It will complain if it's not unique. And we have a description. We uploaded a logo. We're going to have a public community, and we have only admins can create groups. And we are, yeah, I'm not going to disable auto translation and hide all tabs. I can actually show you how that is now. I'm going to not use the hide all tabs. And so yeah, we didn't do anything else. We just put in those basic things here at the top. We choose to have it public and so on. Just think about the access if you want to have it secret first. And then you just press create. And voila, actually, I choose a theme that didn't show the left image here. I forgot about that. Let me see. Oh, TNC headers. Yeah, they didn't have any. It says, let me just quickly like that. Yeah, there we go. That's better. So I choose a different because in the themes you can actually hide this image here, but yeah, but so I just choose a different theme. So yeah, it's just two themes or something that hide the image. So yeah, but I mean most of the themes, if I go into edit community here and I choose a different theme, you know, then you know, it's usually always has the image here. And when I was talking about hiding all tabs, so those are the tabs here. What's this called? Like technically tabs. So you know, it allows me to select like a news feed. And if for some project, it's great to have a news feed. You know, then you have all the news of all the new discussion and so on. It's coming here. You can even post your own. Like you know, more or less like a Facebook feed, so you can you know, go to a website here or something, nice technical website, and so we have the story here, and we can go here onto the newsfeed, and we put in the URL, and then you know, we can make a, you know, is this story relevant? Or something like that. And then you can actually have a discussion also about it. So it's a bit like the Facebook newsfeed. But I'm actually going to disable that for now. I'm just going to say here, go into edit community. I scroll down and say hide all tabs. And voila, and then we don't have any tabs here. But a community is not really you know, you can't do anything in a community on its own. You also have to create at least one engagement group, as we call. And so again, at the bottom right, we have an icon which is called add new group, and there we have a name. And again, I've cheated here a little bit. I have the group name ready. We call this disabled people and work. And we the description here is how to reduce work discrimination against disabled people and make it easier for disabled people to have fruitful work life. So those are the basic things you need to set up for a group: a name and objectives. But I could save it now, and it would be will be ready. But I'm going to have put few more options. Again, we can upload a video here that will come in the place of the image here. And we can upload the logo. I'm going to do that now. So, and that already has this image ready here. And access. So we usually recommend having it open to community. And that this means that the group it will be controlled by the access setting of the community. So if the community is set to secret, the group will be secret as well. But if the community is then public, then it will be also public. And a few other things, we're going to allow anonymous users. So this means that when you start to test the platform later, you don't need to log in with an email. You can, but you don't have to. Like for example, because we're going to be adding in some example ideas, and if you don't want them under your name, then that's fine. So we allow the anonymous option. But this is an it's an option. It's something you can ask people to use. Login with email or Facebook. You can disable also the Facebook login if you want. You can allow one-time login with name as well. So this is like anonymous login, but it does ask you for a name. So it's like a one-time login. But we're just going to keep the group set up as for anonymous users. And this is sort of the access part. It has a lot of options. Don't be and you probably don't need to use except 10% of them. And there is actually another on our website. There's a longer half an hour presentation where I go through all the different options. Like most of them. Well, all the options that were available 2 years ago when I made this video. There's been more options added since then, but it covers most of the options. So, so yeah, we also allow anonymous users, and we have many different settings. We can set our language here. It defaults to English, but it also defaults to the community. So if you've set the community to Icelandic, the group will also default be by Icelandic, except if you want to be a different. And the same with the theme. It inherits the theme from community, but you can also override its group here with your colors. And we go into post settings, and we say here new ideas are allowed. We're going to disable a location. We don't need a map for those ideas. For some projects, the default is that you can have a map, and then there's many other options here. I'm also going to disable the debate as well, because in the first instance, I will change that setting later. But I'm going to disable the debate for now. So we'll focus on in the first. In our first sort of iteration of this test, we will only add ideas. So yeah, I say many settings. Don't need to worry about any of them. It's all basic defaults, that are here. There's one here, default post image. So I might add one here if I find one. So not yeah. So this means that like you guys, you will be adding some ideas later, but you'll probably not be uploading your own images. I mean, for some project that works, some others, but so I have like a default image here that comes with your posts. And then we have vote settings, and we can use different sort of buttons. So we can use hearts and the stop sign, or arrows, or thumbs. So I'm just going to use thumbs now for this one. And I'm also going to disable the voting. So we won't be able to vote until in the last phase of the workshop, a little bit, later this afternoon. And also, I'm going to put the maximum number of votes to only 2. So hopefully we get like 6 or 7 ideas in here later. And we'll limit the voting to 2. And we go down here, the point setting, and we say make new point optional, and we also hide new point on a new idea. And then finally, we also do hide all tabs here to simplify the user interface. But that's it. So we put in the name and the description. We've uploaded an image. We allow anonymous users. We've new ideas are allowed, but we disabled the location, and we also disabled the debate. We uploaded the default image when people add ideas, and we're using the thumbs up and down for the voting, but we only allow we're only going to allow 2 votes, and the votes is closed now. So I press here at the button on the create at the bottom right, and now we have basically you know, and I will send this URL to you here. So I will also make so now basically if we go to the URL, and because I put the project as public, we have this demo, better policies for disabled people, and we have our first group that I just created, disabled people and work, and I can click on that. It says I have used 0 of my 2 votes, and then I can add an idea with the title and the description and the media. Before we do that, I'm actually going to create 2 more groups, so you see a little bit how the how that works, and then we'll do a 10-minute coffee break after we've gone 50 minutes, and after the coffee break, we will I will show you how you add ideas and how you add your own ideas, and before the coffee break, I will also put the QR code on the screen for the project. Okay, so we came in here and we wanted to create an engagement community about better policies for disabled people, and we've created 1 group, but we want to create 2 more groups. So I press again, I'm in the community. Here's my first group, and then at the bottom right of the screen, I can also add another group. And again, I have here, I have the text prepared here in another document. See, now I have many pages open. Accessibility of online services, that's our next group. And this is an example on how you could just have 1 group with ideas to empower disabled people. You know, we could have just had 1 group and just collected ideas in that. But this is an example on how we use the grouping feature to sort of focus the consultation. What type of ideas are you, as a civil society organization or as a government, what sort of ideas are you looking for? So the groups allow you to frame the consultation in useful ways for you, because a consultation like this is always 2 ways. It needs to be useful for, you know, the civil society organization or the government that is doing it, but obviously it needs also to be useful for citizens, you know. And having this group structure where you break things down into the type of ideas, for example, in this case that you're looking out for, that can be really helpful. But anyway, accessibility of online services, we upload the logo here, like that. We have it open to community, we allow anonymous users, we disable location, we disable debate. Yeah, nice. I'm already seeing new ideas. Very good, very good. And we changed the voting to thumbs, and we don't allow voting for now. We'll do that at the end, and we'll put in a maximum number of 3 votes, and we'll make a new point optional and hide new point on new idea. And finally, we hide all tabs. Voila, accessibility of online services. So that's then our second group. So now we have disabled people and work, accessibility of online services. And then the third and final group I'm going to create as part of this demo. So, see, here's the third one, mobility and physical accessibility. And I'm just copy pasting some text here. We upload an image, open to community, allow anonymous users. Disable location, disable debate. I have the default post image, something I didn't do with the other one, but voting allowed, no. Thumbs, choose thumbs. Just doing the same thing again now as I've done with the other two, and we hide all tabs. And there now we have the three groups. There's one thing when I went, I forgot to put the default image for the accessibility online services, so I could just click on that group, and then on the top right of and also of the community, there's this menu here, top right, like those three dots, the three-dot menu here, and you click on it, and then there's a lot of options. Don't worry, you don't need to know all of those options to start with. You just edit group. And as I forgot to put the default post image, I know it's down here, default post image, and then I choose that one and I save it. So at any time, you can always change your text. You can, if you want to, add something, you want to add a big X here or something, you do that. But obviously, we didn't have a big X there, so we just take it away. So the platform is really, flexible. It's like you can really never make mistakes, or you can always, get back and fix something, if it's not, yeah. And I see, yeah, we could already see, one idea here, which is great. But what I do want to do, because I need a bit of a coffee break, that we do take now a 10-minute break, and I've already, and then after the break, I will go through, I will add a couple of example ideas, and then I will give you maybe 10-15 minutes or something like that after the coffee break to add some ideas. And you're happy to, as you're already adding ideas, absolutely feel free to already do that. But I will take you through that after the coffee break, and then we will, yeah, and then we'll, basically do a bit of an interactive section. We'll first do ideas, and then we'll look at those, and then we'll do a debate for 10-15 minutes, and then we'll do finally voting in the end, and we'll sort of talk through all of it, and obviously a few questions and so on. But finally here, I did find a, see, QR code create generator. See, this is some ads with that. QR code generator. I had emailed me one, but that I like, but I think this one is good. So, so now here is the full sort of URL. I just copy that here at the top, and I put it into the QR code generator, and then we have this QR code. I'm going to leave that on the screen. Let me just quickly test it if it's working. Me. Yes, that does work. All right, so I leave that on the screen, and I will be here back here in 10 minutes, and then we'll feel free to add ideas while I'm here, but we will still take some time. Take your coffee break. I recommend it, because we will have another 15 minutes after I go through with you for a few minutes on how you put in the idea. We will then have a 15 minutes when I will ask you to add ideas, and then we'll review those, and then we'll go into debate. Anyway, I'll see you in 9 minutes. All right. So I will bring this QR code up on the screen, just in a minute again. But first, let's go back to the online platform, and I can see already we have 6 ideas. That's fantastic. Yeah, and I think that's maybe like one sort of the idea of your priorities is not that you need somebody to like me to teach people how to put in add ideas. I mean, that's like something that we sort of make a point of just making self-evident when you arrive at the participation project. But anyway, I click on here. I'll show you some of the options. And now we have here yeah, I'm not sure why it put up. It seems to be all in English, but it may be because of the words incentivize here. But if you have ideas that are, so let's say if I reload here, yeah. So if there are ideas in many languages, you can have them sort of auto-translated. But anyway, I come to the group here and I say, click on add new idea. And again, I had some, more, I had some ideas here ready, more options to work from home. And I had a little description about that. It's not a complicated idea. So being able to work from home is even more important to people, even if coming into the office is also important. And we then click on here on the media, or we can click on next down here, as I see many of you have tried already. And we can upload an image, and I think I even have one image here ready to go. And then I can choose cover media. Is it like none? And then that will be the default image or my image that I just uploaded. And I press create, and then my idea is has been created. And we can see here, like it automatically gets 1 vote from me when I added it. And we can see the points for and against it disabled. The debate is disabled. So I will enable that in a moment in sort of the next phase. But we can also yeah, and then we come back here and then we see the ideas, both in this one I just added. But we can also go in here and say add a new idea, and I say use AI to empower disabled people. And I can just put the same in here, and then I put media. And I'm not sure how this is going to work because I'm already broadcasting on Zoom, but let's try. So I click on video here, and I press record, and I say allow here. Oh, no recording devices found. Okay, so I can't show you a live demo of how you record a video or an audio. I don't think that's also going to work. And maybe audio will work. Let me see. Default microphone here. No. So yeah, I can't demonstrate audio and video while I'm using the audio and video through Zoom. So but yeah, but there's nothing to it. It's quite simple actually to record a video. So I'm not sure if I have a video I can upload. I don't even think so. I have any video here that yeah, here's some 3D demo I was working at some point. So I choose the video from my just like, and you can do that also on your phone. You can choose it just from your video archive. And this was a relatively big, high quality video. I think it was like 80 or 90 megabytes. So it takes a little bit of time to sort of it takes a little bit of time to upload, and then then the video is sort of processed, so it's put into a format that's easy to sort of show on the website. But as I said, this was a pretty big video. It can take a few seconds to actually prepare it. Make it ready. Here we go. And then it offers me to, choose a cover image. It's a short video, so it only offers me one cover image. But if it was like a 1-minute video, it would offer you at least 6 cover images, I believe. But you choose that one, or you can scroll down here and you can use the logo photo. So if you had already put in an image with the idea, then you could use that. But I say create, and if there was audio with this, if I had spoken in my idea, then we have AI that would automatically transcribe what you spoke in the video to text. But otherwise, there's no text here, and this is just like some art project I was helping out with to some 3D cloths right there. But but the experience can be quite sort of interactive and yeah. And I can already see, because I added 2 ideas, then I've used both my votes, but I can change those later. So but here, if you see the list, then you see the idea here, and just a still image from the video, and then you just play it by clicking on here. But so I know you have probably all added some ideas, and I can see that we have one idea in, here now in each of the groups. You can see here at the bottom of each of the groups, you can see how many ideas are added, how many debate points, how many users have participated in that by directly taking part. So so it would be great if maybe you could add one or maybe one or two more ideas in some of those boxes. And I will now give you another 10 minutes. I think that's enough. Looking at the time, another 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes at the most. Let me know if you want more time. But I'll do now where you can on your phone, or by using the link in the chat, and just have it in the browser. But you can either use the QR code, or or you can use the link to participate on your phone. But I'll be right here. So just I'll be monitoring the chat if there's any questions. But I'll now give you guys 10 minutes to say 19 minutes past or something like that, to add a few more ideas, and then we will then I will switch modes in the system and enable the debate for and against, and I will talk to you about a little bit of how that works. So I see you guys in 10 minutes. I'll be right here waiting behind the screen. So I'm monitoring the chat, and just if you have a question, just speak it out. Yeah. Það komið fullt af hugmyndum inn. Sorry, I started in Icelandic. So yeah, there's many ideas I've been at it. Really well done. 14 ideas, which is great, and we'll go over them in a minute. But I'm going to go in first here and go into the group settings, and I'm going to enable the debate now. But we will go over it in a minute. But also you can keep on adding ideas also while I talk or whatever. But here, if I go into the edit group, then I have the debate, and I enable the debate now by not disabling it. I go into the next group, and I also there I will won't disable the debate again, and we'll go into the final group here, edit group, and we'll enable the debate again here. So yeah, as I say, really well done. If you just go over this a little bit, so we have many ideas: disabled people on work, national programs. We have incentivize employees, promote education and development of competences, disabled people and gender equality, disabled people and hospitality industry. And now if I go into disabled people and work, now we have, after I enable the debate, now we have two more options here. We have points for, points against. And as before, you can actually also record video, short video or audio. I can't demonstrate that here, some of the Zoom, but I mean the simplest case. So yeah, I say assistive. I can write my point for technologies. Oops. Are great and will help a lot. I just said that here. And I say post point here. And often, you have an idea and you only put the point in support for it. And I'm now going after I finish going over this a little bit with you, and we'll go over the ideas, then we'll take another 10 minutes, and I will ask you to raise some points for and against the different ideas. So yeah, text-to-speech systems using OCR. That's actually a shame. I can't show you the audio part here, but actually disabled people can, using the audio, they can just speak in their idea, and it's automatically converted to text through text-to-speech AI. But for this idea, I say I really like the idea, but all this new technology could be expensive and not practical. I don't think so. I think assistive technology is great, but this would be a classic point against this idea. Even if I like it, there are pros and cons of everything. I don't actually necessarily think I'm just going to vote my point down here, because I don't think it's a very good point. I think this is a good point. So you can also, and so while you can't comment directly on other people's points, you can sort of vote up and down. And I mean, this is sort of, obviously we are all doing this now a bit for fun as well, to learn. Obviously, disabled people and policies is a really serious subject, and we've actually our platforms have been used for many projects connected to disabled people. For example, here on the Better Reykjavik website, we have the project called Ramp Up Iceland, where put it into English. So basically, let's ramp up Iceland. Let's create ramps everywhere, so disabled people can just go where they want to go. I mean, is it that hard? But yeah, I'm just example here of while this is a demo, and we are, and feel free to put in even the most silly points, against. Then actually, those sort of online platforms can actually be really, helpful for engaging, innovating on ideas too, when it comes to disabled people. And great, I can see we're already seeing points come in. And when you're on an idea page like I'm here, then and if I'm just on the page like this, I will see in real time as the points come in for this idea. Okay, let's go back. We'll go national programs. I'm not going to write, yeah, I think that's a really good idea. My ideas here, AI to empower disabled people, that's like similar as the talking about assistive technology, more options for working from home, incentivizing employees, yeah, to give tax breaks and other methods to. That's a really good idea. Shame I can't vote on it. It's not enabled. I can't always have voted on it, but promote education and development of competence. So yeah, that's really absolutely education. So there's just understanding of the real issues, and gender equality when it comes to disabled people is a whole chapter on its own, for sure. And yeah, I mean, have and I know that like there's at least a couple of hotels here in Iceland that are sort of been sort of really good at making disabled people feel like home, but definitely more could do that. So those are some really good ideas, and we'll go back here. We'll look at the mobility and physical accessibility. Youth center accessibility for young disabled people. Yes, absolutely, very important. I mean, young disabled people are probably definitely have often a very hard time, and if they then already are disabled, but then they can't have access to the venues and so on. So yeah, so that's yeah, and so very important idea. Tailor air travel, trouble-free accessible toilet. That's true. I mean, those are like practical problems, that often face disabled people, that people who are not disabled don't realize. Better accessibility in schools, all really important. Accessibility of institutions, absolutely. This is a problem everywhere. Even in a small, relatively wealthy country like Iceland, it's still some government buildings and so on could be more accessible. So really well done, everybody. Some really good ideas, and too bad we can't just take the results of this little demonstrations to a government. But maybe you have an idea for doing a real project on something like this. Then obviously you can feel free to use this experience and obviously your priorities platform for free. And finally here, accessibility of online services and better instructions. I think that's a really good. And you can see now here we have, like, on the top right, it takes like about 10 minutes for new ideas to come into the AI system. But when they're in the AI system, then you can sort of swipe through ideas here. And accessibility features. So yeah, speech to text, text to speech. Really happy. I'm also really happy we have that here already in the platform. So and that's, I guess, is really, like, I mean, if you use your priorities to engage with the disabled, about policy of disabled people, then it's important they can take part as well. So the Your Priorities website, for example, works quite well with screen readers, and again, you can speak in your ideas and your comments. So we hope, and that if you do try to do a project with disabled people, that you find that disabled people can use the platform for actually engaging in a subject that's of great relevance to them. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to tell you one thing, if you don't see the inputs here, points for and against, just reload the page. So I changed the configuration, and it should show like most of the time. But if you don't see it on your idea, you just need to reload. It's just because I had the debate disabled, and then I enabled it. Actually, when we open for the voting, I'm absolutely sure that you don't need to reload after doing that. So yeah, I mean, happy to answer questions. Otherwise, I'm thinking let's give ourselves 10 minutes now, to another 10 minutes to add just a couple of debate points here and there. You don't need to write a debate point for all the ideas. You put in 15 ideas. Or me and you, actually, I put in 2, but still really, really well done. And but so you don't need to put in the points for and against all of them. But just take it out and put in some debate points that you find could be interested in this discussion. Then after that, we will just read over and we'll look at some of the debate points and debates, and then I will switch over all the groups so we can do voting, and then we'll take another 10 minutes for the vote, and then we'll probably end up doing another 10 minutes coffee break, and then right after the coffee break we can go into discussion and questions and so on, and anything I can help to if you have an idea for an engagement project, how could you execute it, how could you make it reality in a relatively easy way. But so I'll be here as before, so if you have any questions or any problems, just put it in the chat or shout out, but otherwise we'll now give ourselves 10 minutes to add some debate points for and against some of those great ideas you put in. All right. Yeah, thank you so much for adding points, and it's great. We have several points in each category. So so I'm going to now enable the voting, which is sort of the final step. So I'm going to edit group, and I'm going to disable that new ideas are allowed. So we're now in the voting phase, so there's no more new ideas, and we say the voting is allowed, and we say save. And now we have here closed for new ideas. We can't add any more. But now oops, I need to. Oh yes, I have already I had already spent both my votes here. So I'm gonna reset those because I added 2 ideas, and there's only 2 votes per person. Actually, I'm just going to change the votes here to so we can have 5 votes each. So let me see. So I changed it to 5 votes. So if you have added some ideas, then you want to, run out of votes. Anyway, but choose maybe three of the top ideas in this category, and yes, we will focus on the first category, but I'm still going to enable the debate here no, forget the voting, voting allowed, and also for the final one, even it's only 3 ideas, it's still they could still be prioritized. If it's just 1 idea, and so voting allowed, and we disable the new ideas. So now, and it's really simple. So now when you come to the page, you see the order of the ideas. If I reload it again, the page, I will get another order. So now when we have closed for new ideas and we have allowed voting, each time a new user comes to the site, they will get like a random order of the ideas. And this is the idea for that we have, that we, so you won't have the same ideas that appear always first on the screen. But I'm also going to change one thing I forgot here, is that I'm going to take away in the voting here, in the voting settings, I'm gonna hide vote count like that. So that means that so when I look at the ideas here, I won't see how many people have voted up and down. And that's usually a good practice, so you don't so you're not like seeing, oh yeah, okay, so this is clearly the idea that most people support, so I will support that as well. So I'm going to change that here. I'm going to edit group, and we go into hide vote count, and we'll go here into the final group. We'll also hide the vote count here. That's done in vote settings. Oops. Hide vote count like that. So then when I'm voting for this one, or I'm voting for this one, or both, and of course, if I vote both ideas up here, that's going to be like having putting in no vote. But if I put one idea up and the other one down, then I'm really having a big influence on both the ideas. Well, I'm having 1 vote influence in the other direction. But let's see. I will vote. I will do a secret vote away from the screen. No, I'm kidding. But I will go here first in the first category, and I start. Oh, I like this idea. I love it. I love this one as well. This one is good. And remember, I put in 5 votes. So here at the bottom of the screen, you see I've used 4 out of my 5 votes. Anyway, I just continue. But now, when I've chosen my 5th vote, I won't be able to vote anymore. There's no more votes for me to have. So I can then click here, and I can then free my vote, and then I can choose something else. And then, I can't. So that's like and in some cases, you can also hide the vote down button if you like. you know, it is sort of different for different types of ideas, different types of consultations. You know, like sometimes it is good to have the opportunity for people to vote things down, you know, to sort of show their you know, sort of displeasure for this. But yeah, you know, basically thinking about we'll just give this 5 minutes, and then we'll I think you know, just look at the results, and we'll, you know, we can have a little bit of a discussion and questions and so on. And you know, I think rather than doing another 10-minute break after the voting, I think we'll just go on and see if we have a lot of questions. We might then do a short break later, but rather than doing a break now and then like a short session afterwards, maybe we'll just try to do everything now. So but now 5 minutes while you just go through this through the 3 groups and choose the you know, ideas that you think are most you know, and try only to use 3 votes. Even if you do have 5 votes, you know, try just to use, you know, 3 votes for this, because it's not that many ideas. And you know, by having 3 votes, you're sort of picking out which are your 3 favorite ones. And that's sort of, you know, if you select like all 5, then you've selected all but 2 of the ideas. So that's gonna decrease your well, the sort of predictive nature of this sort of small voting exercise. And while you know, for example, in Iceland, when we do participatory budgeting, where people are voting on actual money, like millions and millions of euros, like 7 million euros, then people use electronic IDs to participate. And here we're using an anonymous account. And actually for a small project like this, where you know who is in the meeting, you know who has the URL for it, you know, it's fine to have an anonymous vote like this, because only us who are on the Zoom call, we know about this link, and we are the only ones who can come here. But that is sort of the trick with the voting, is that, you know, if you have something really, really important, then you know, it's a consideration how much voting you can do without having 1 vote per person. But for this exercise, and for smaller projects, and for, you know, even for larger projects where you are using the votes not maybe as the final decision maker, but you're using the votes to gauge people's interests in the you know, yeah, in the different projects, then it's fine. Then it's more like likes. Then you're not really thinking about this voting. You're thinking about people put a like for or a dislike. But when it comes to decision making, then it's important that you have 1 vote per person through electronic IDs. Then anyway, yeah. So just give you 4 or 5 minutes now. All right, so I'm gonna now basically stop the voting. So, I go into edit group always again to change those settings. I go into the voting allowed, and I will also now disable hide vote count. So when I change the settings, then we will see and we'll see the results of the vote. So so the top idea is about assessive technology with 5 votes and more options for working from home, promote educational development. So not that I'm saying that the other ideas are worse or anything, they're definitely not. But in our small, and as you can see, this one has 5 votes, this one has 3, and actually a lot of them have, there's 2 of them that have 3, and 2 of them that have 2 votes. You can only see the number of votes here at the bottom of the screen by the likes. And but there, you have a bit of a prioritization from what we would do if this group was prioritizing. The same here. I need to go back into the edit group here and choose choose to not allow the vote, and we don't hide the vote count. Same here now. So the youth centers and accessibility came out on top with 4 votes, and we also have the debate, which didn't go to, I was going to go to before, but if you just look at together in the debate, then we have 2 good points here for this idea, and here we have a point for, and if I just go back into the main group here, we can also say filter ideas here. I pressed on the filter ideas, this button that's here on the top of the screen, filter ideas and most debated, and we go into disabled people on work, and then we see that there's three debate points here, but we can sort of scroll through the ideas, get those are good points, and there's a classic debate points against that, who would to try to find, because in the end, by having a point against something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are against the idea. It's just that it means that you see some issue with it. And so I'm always going here up and down just by clicking on the group, and then I use the button here at the top left to go back. But as I say, really well done. A lot of interesting ideas, and I think we'll go now to look at some questions. So I know it's been a bit of a whirlwind tour of this. As I said, there's already video on our Citizens of Dias homepage, so you can sort of go look at this step by step. But if you have if you have some idea for a project or already, or it will come opportunity later, then obviously you can jump on using the platform for free at our cloud version. You don't need to install anything. And so, but first question, Helena.
Hello. I have one question. Sorry.
No problem.
Hi. If you start with some project and then you hide it, and how to find it?
So if you create a project, let me just show, actually I can show you here. So to share my screen again. So if I go now just to the main Your Priorities homepage, which there's a lot of projects, and but the thing is that if I press on at the top of the screen, there's like a what's called the hamburger menu. There's like 3 lines here at the top of the screen. Then I will see my communities here on the left side of the screen. So I can always find my community, and I'm a super admin, so I've actually access to thousands of communities. So it's a very long list here, but I can then find my project back here just by logging in, and then all my projects will show up here in this list on the left side of the screen. Or if you're using mobile, so now I switched to sort of like simulating a mobile view. You can even like drag the left side of the screen out like that, and then you have always access to your projects that you have created on the platform. But you will also have access to projects you have participated in. So if you have, for example, now, when you, for the ones of you who have participated, when you click on the top hamburger menu here, then you should, you should see the better policies for disabled people here on your site. So.
Yeah, because I tried to do something and I hide it, and now I cannot find it anymore. That's why I'm asking.
Sorry. So you selected to hide the group, you mean?
Yes.
And so when you go in here, you don't see it here on the list on the left.
No.
That's interesting. So you basically you went in here and you was it a group or a community or community? Or is it only this top level here?
Well, it's a new project.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So one place, another one. It might actually, if you hide it, it might actually be hidden also from this list. I need to check on it. It shouldn't really be, but it might be. What you could do is you could press like Control H on the browser, and then you get the history of your pages that you visited, and then you will see your link to your project there probably.
Okay.
Can that be? Or you can go into the menu and into it's called history. Let me see. Yeah, history here. Just look history. Then you get this list, at least in Chrome. And there you can even search for yrpri.org. Oops.
Maybe I didn't go through to the end, so.
Yeah, maybe actually, it could be that if you don't find it like that, because you should see it in the other side. So if you go in here and you create a new project, or actually I need to be on the top level here, and I say here, Plaster, create a new project, and here it is, and I create the project, and if I put it here as, like secret, is that what you talked about? You put it to secret here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's also another place where you can choose for it to be active or hidden here. But I would say that you just go through it again. But if you don't press the create button and you don't end up on the project page, then it hasn't been created. It doesn't get created until you have completed the create. All right.
Thanks.
Yeah, but just ping me, and also for all of you, and Helena, for you as well. If you have any issues like tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, feel free to contact me at robert@citizens.is if you have any questions about how to use the platform. So if you have some stumbling block later on, then you're always free to contact me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions? No, nothing. Nothing so far. Nothing in the chat. So yeah, I mean, Christian, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey.
Hey.
You have any questions for now, or
no.
should we just end this part now and?
Well, yeah, I think if there are no questions from the participants, then.
So, but as I say, if you have any questions, you can email me. Plus, I hope to see you again yeah, I hope I see you again on Monday, and where we will go through communications. Now, if you've created a project, how best to promote it, what channels are available, and then specifically how you use so-called analytics solutions. So analytics solutions are where you can analyze how people are using your website, how many people visit, what they do they post new ideas, do they come from Facebook, do they come from Twitter, do they come from some marketing campaign you did, and so on. So yeah, so I will go over all of that on Monday, but yeah, and otherwise, if there's nothing else, well, I think we'll call it a day for now. Yeah, thank you for your comment in the chat. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Robert. I thought that this was really interesting today and practical. Hopefully others found it useful too. Thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you on Monday in as large number as possible. Thank you all. Bye.
Great. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye.